Welcome, everybody. We're talking with Ted Savrinsky once again, professional sports bettor out in Las Vegas. And today we're talking about some college basketball teams that basically are the ones to bet against, to cash your ticket and to profit from the bookie. So, Ted, first and foremost, thanks for being back with us. We enjoy our time with you. If you will, touch on this list and who are some of those teams that are the ones to bet against to beat the book?
Yeah, and look, I mean, we talk about the concept of public money. And bettors are always concerned, who's the public like? Who's the sharps on? Who are the sharps on? Who are the squares on? In college basketball, public money doesn't exist. I mean, it literally is as much of a non-factor as anything that you can imagine. All the college basketball point spreads are set to beat wise guys. They could care less what the $50 bettors and the $100 bettors do. They need, from a bookmaker standpoint, to beat the guys with deep pockets.
Sure.
So when you see top 25 teams that I'm going to highlight here as bet against squads, it's nothing to do with what the public likes. It has to do with how good these teams are and where they're being power rated by the wise guys, by the advanced metric formulas, because that's what sets a college basketball point spreads. Are these, the hard mathematical numbers where all the stats get spit into an algorithm and boom, out pops a power rating for that team. So, there's two teams that are right at the top that are very easy for me to talk about as bet against. And let's start with the defending national champs, the Duke Blue Devils. This is a Duke team that's now lost 3 in a row in ACC play. And it could get worse. It really could. Coach K, in many years, is very reluctant to rely on his bench. This year, it's gotten ridiculous. Duke has a 6-man rotation right now. All 5 starters are basically playing for extended stretches. There's nobody on the bench that Coach K trusts even a little bit. And what happens when you're in the midst of an ACC campaign and the rigors of the season start to wear down on you, and the tough opponents? That's a tough conference.
Yeah.
The opponents start coming up again and again and again, and you only have 6 guys you're relying on. You wear down a little bit. We've seen that from Duke a lot of late. And I'm not saying that Duke's a bad team. I'm not saying that Duke's not going to be in contention for another title this year, or they're going to miss the tournament. No. All I'm saying is this team is an overvalued commodity. The lack of depth has hurt them both in terms of extending leads and in terms of hanging tough with other quality foes.
They're also feeling that injury. Amir Johnson, that's huge. They have not been able to.
That's what dropped them down to 6. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's definitely plagued them. Who's another one that sticks their head out, Ted?
Well, we have the team that won the national title last year. Let's talk about a team that played for the national title 2 years ago, the Kentucky Wildcats. In Kentucky, again, John Calipari, nobody recruits like Calipari. They have a ridiculous amount of talent once again this year. But compared to every recent Kentucky team, and Calipari said it about 20 times, this team's not as far advanced. They're not as mature. They're not as well developed. And in particular, they've shown something of a glass chin on the highway. When Kentucky has faced an opponent that brings it, they're coming up short. We all remember what happened at LSU. That hasn't been unusual for Kentucky. I certainly remember the game at UCLA when they got waxed there. So while Kentucky, again, they're good, they're going to be making noise in March, they are not a team to lay points with on the road. Or no, by the way, they're laying points on the road tonight.
Another quote that I had heard from Calipari, and it was said supposedly in not an offensive way, but he said this is one of the more selfish teams he's had in a while. So maybe that's why they just haven't been able to blend that talent together, because, when you're dealing with all that talent, egos and stuff, that's got to be a full-time job. So, all right, Ted.
I'll tell you what, Calipari's quotes about this team compared to every recent version, it's night and day. He doesn't like these guys as much, and it's very clear.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, well, you heard it out there, viewers. Believe it or not, Kentucky and Duke, 2 just high horses that come and show up every year. They are the ones right now betting against us, cashing the tickets. So, Ted, we appreciate the insight and the information. And I know myself personally, I'm going to keep that in mind, and I'm going to take some shots at that. So anything else comes to mind down the road, fill us in. And again, thanks for being with us, Ted. Beat the book tonight and have a great evening.